So the project AI is done. So we create the project. Okay, wait as the project is being created. The files are being indexed. So wait as the project is being created. The files are being okay, the project has done. So we go ahead to the terminal so that we can install our modules. So, so we are going to first install the Google Gen AI. So we just copy this, we go back to our terminal, then we paste. Just click enter, then magic will happen. So Google Gen AI has been installed. Then you go ahead and install Flask. It's going to be our back end. So even Flask has been installed. So we go ahead and create our first file. I'm going to name this Gemini.py. So let me first screen this. Okay, let's continue. So we go back so that we can copy this simple snippet. So here they show us a simple usage of the Gen AI. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste here. So they are saying here that the client gets the API key from the environment variables. So you should be having a Gen AI API key. So let's go ahead and get an API key for the Gen AI. So click on this Passport AI. So here they are telling us that we are going to put our API key inside here. So that means we should be having an API so that we can be able to use this. So let's go ahead and get the API key. So just go Gemini, dev API. So you go to the quick start. So you go to API keys. I don't know if they are providing a link here to create an API key. So they are here up there telling us to get API key. So let's go on and get the API key. So I created one API key once, so it is here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it. So I did this one after this video. So I'm going to create another file here and I name it Gemini API key.py. So API key is equal to, then I paste the API key there. So I go ahead in the Gemini. So from Gemini API key import API key. So I go ahead and I paste the API key as it is required here. Go to API key. Let me just organize this real quick. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and test this if it works. So let me run this file and I see if it returns anything. So you can see that we are getting a response here. So this shows that our Gemini is working properly. So now the remaining part is to connect this to Flask so that we can build our web app very well. So I'm going to go ahead and create another file named app.py. I'm going to go ahead and import Flask. So from Flask import Flask. I'm going to create my app. App is equal to Flask. So initialize the Flask. So let me create a simple router here. So this is how you create a router at app.route. So I'm going to create a root. This is my root route there. I'm going to call it home. I'm going to return just simple text. Hello from Flask. So I'm going to go ahead and run the app. If name is equal to main. So app dot, I'm going to turn on the debug so that you can see the errors. Go to true, then app dot run. So this creates and runs our Flask app. So let me run this. So you can see that our server has been started at this port I'm going to follow this link. So you can see that I'm getting hello from Flask, meaning that our app is running and is ready to be used. Okay. So let me go ahead and create a route that will enable us to ask some questions to the AI or to our assistant. Route, I'm going to call it ask, and yeah, ask question. So as we are going to be sending data to the server, so let me specify the methods required here. So we're going to use the post method that enables us to send data to the server, and the get method. So that this is used to show, just to show context to a web page. So I'm going to go ahead and check if request. So we're going to first import request from Flask, render template. This is used to render templates. We shall look at that, and JSON listen by this is used to send and to receive JSON responses from and to the server. So I'm going to check if the request.method is equal to post, and we do post related things. If request.method is equal to post, so we are getting our question from the user. So question will be from this post method is equal to request dot. So we are going to be receiving JSON get question. So we are going to be sending a question through a JSON request. So if the question exists, so I'm going to first print it. I'm going to first return it as a JSON response question. So this will prove that we have received the question from the user. So I'm going to also, so if it is not the post method, we're going to just return some simple text like this will be returned. So this is the ASCII endpoint that will enable us to ask the questions to our AI or our assistant. So let me go ahead and access this ask. So I just slash ask. So the our get method is sending the data to be viewed, but we need a way to make a post method to the server. So to send a post method to the server, you either use a front end, but this time around I'm going to be using Postman to create a simple post method. So we shall look at front end the next part. So I was trying this. So this is our endpoint slash ask. I'm going to go to the body. So let me minimize this. So this is the body, and we are sending JSON because our server is expecting JSON. So let me go ahead and send this. So you can see that the request is successful with it. The status score of job 200, and this is the question that we have asked. So I can go ahead and change this question. So I'm going to say summarize the causes of wars in Uganda. So let's wait for the response. You can see that we are receiving summarize the causes of wars in Uganda. Okay. Now we need a way to send our AI response. Now, instead of sending the question back to the user, we need a way to send our AI response back to our front end, which this time around we are using Postman as our front end just to make some API calls. So I'm going to go back to my Gemini. So this is how we get the answers from this response from the client. So I'm going to create a function that takes in a question and it will return a response. So if I'm going to call it assistant response, and it's going to take a question. I'm just going to put this, and instead of printing this response, I'm going to return it. So, and instead of this raw text here, I'm going to replace it with the question that's going to be passed as the argument or as the parameter. So this is the parameter. So it will be an argument when we are using the function. So this function will return an AI response in form of text. So let's go back to our app. So after receiving the question, we are going to create an answer variable here, and let's import our import from Gemini import assistant response. So our answer is going to be equal to assistant response that takes a question we are receiving from the user question. So this will be informal. So instead of sending a question back to the user again, we are going to send this answer. Let's replace the question, the answer. So I think that's all. Just format this a little bit. Okay, so we are going to return the answer. So let me test this. Go back to Postman. So summarize the causes of wars in Uganda. So now let's wait for the AI to respond. So you can see that we have received our response. So the causes of wars, let me expand this so that we can be clear what are the causes of wars. So the causes of wars in Uganda are complex and multi faced, often overlapping and creating cylindrical patterns of violence. This can be broadly categorized So think politics is the major cause of wars. So they are talking about Idi Amin in 1971, Obote overthrown. So I think that's it. So this is the AI response. So this is some progress. So we are able to receive the AI response from the server. So this is a good thing. Now the remaining part is just to create our front end, and that will be in the next part. So thank you for watching. We shall meet next time.